Alright guys, welcome back to... Alright guys, so I've got an exciting announcement for myself today of a goal that I've set for the first time in about 3 years, physically what I want to achieve, both performance based and from a physical perspective. Now, I can't even get my words out there, but I'm also going to explain for you guys that are interested in your own fat loss journey, or if you're a coach and you're looking to take people to the next level, and perhaps you are just wanting to optimize the way you actually go through that process with a fat loss client. I'm going to explain that exact process we use now with people that actually have lives outside of the gym. So that is the most important thing that I want you to realize, is this is for someone that wants to do it in the most optimal way while still enjoying their life, setting short-term goals that they can focus and use as checkpoints, and it gets them through it, especially when it's long term. Like, this is absolutely crucial if this is long term fat loss that you need to achieve. Anything over 12 weeks, I would say, is more long term. So what we're going to do is, first of all, I am going to dive in to the actual spreadsheet we've got in front of us here. Now, this is our phase planner, and this is what we use, right, to actually map things out for our clients every single time, regardless of what they're doing, regardless of what the goal is, regardless of on what level they are, beginner, intermediate, advanced. We need to know where we're at, and we describe it all the time in terms of a journey. You know, if you don't know the steps you need to take to actually get there in the end, you're just going to be floating around aimlessly. You need to know exactly where you're going, how you're going to get there, and how aggressive you need to be. So, a few things to walk through before you just look at this, see all the colors, see all the names, see all the titles, and be like, what the hell is this? Now, the physique phase is just based on body composition, so whether we are actually pushing body weight up, whether we are chasing muscle mass, whether we are actually making sure we're in a surplus or a deficit, it's as simple as that. So we will talk through the definitions and the terms we use in a different video. But the training phase as well, we've got 3 phases that we identify clients at. So they're either at a level where they are able to do a lot more volume because the skill level is not there, the strength level is not there, and they can handle it because they are not pushing themselves with true execution tempo and going anywhere close to failure, even though they think they are. Phase 2 is more intermediate, so there is still room to progress in terms of their intensity. Their execution is very good, but could be better. And they are now starting to have to drop volume down because they are going to be fatiguing from how good they are now at training. And then phase 3 is just advanced. Like, phase 3 is taking every set with perfect execution to complete failure every single time. And then the other things we have down here on the drop down is the actual frequency of the training as well, and the overall volume, with some order progressions and intensity techniques and deloads. So again, I'll cover that in a different video, but right now I just want to talk you through the phases we actually use for people going through fat loss blocks and my own journey. So my goal this time around, right, is to actually have something secrets planned here. I'm not going to say exactly what it is, right, but as you can see, 3 fat loss blocks from the position I'm in now, where I'm in a position, like, I've been comfortable for the last 2.5 years, I think, since I actually stepped away from competitive amateur bodybuilding, right? Those of you that followed me before then know how serious I took it. It's even on YouTube with the junior bodybuilding series. I think that was like the peak of when I was fully focused and dialed in on my physique, really. I got obsessed with the fitness industry from 14 to 16, when I really started to learn about how important nutrition was as well to control your body, and then using it for performance, and then just crossing into natural bodybuilding through being in the fitness industry, and then eventually going to the dark side, and then that's when the junior bodybuilding series really took over my life. But it built everything, and the authority we've got now, and I learned everything through those years to do what we do and what we've built with PB Academy. So yeah, I wouldn't have been able to get the results that we have and help the team build and the coaches build to actually reach as many people as we do now if I didn't go through that. So that's something I don't regret. It was a great chapter in my life, but right now, and the last 2 years, I've been fully focused with that relentless attitude on building the company, which is PB Academy, and we've got the gym as well. So that's where my focus has been. But now I feel like I'm finally in a position where I want something else. I want another goal alongside it, a hobby, that I'm seeing this as something fun to document as well, because I do enjoy that. Like, YouTube in itself has always been a hobby to me, and I want to see it that way. Whereas the content that we do and give out all of the time, it is a job. I have to do it. It's not a question anymore. You know, if I don't do this, I'm unable to provide. I'm unable to reach the number of people we need to. So in terms of short form content, you know, that's where we built everything from PB Academy. So this is more fun for me. Like, this is me being me. I get to throw up whatever I want on here. I know it's still going to give a lot of value to people, but that's what I enjoy doing. I've always enjoyed helping people. So anyway, I want to talk through my system of how we do this with fat loss clients that are going through it long term. I'll put up a transformation. I'm not sure if you've seen the picture of Kerry, but probably one of the best examples of a long-term fat loss client that followed this exact protocol, where we have these short 4 to 6 week blocks, as you can see, and then we have a maintenance phase just for 1 week. Just reverse calories back up, bring it back to a nice place, give yourself a bit of a mental break. We use deloads during this week as well if needed, and then we go again. We hit the ground running again with another attempt at really dropping and picking up the pace. Now, as you can see on here, the estimated body weight, right? Although body weight isn't the be all and end all, it is a very important metric on the long term when you zoom out and you look at things like that. If you're looking at it every week, there is no way that things are going to drop as perfectly as that. And that's where people go wrong. They get fixated on the daily reading of body weight or the weekly reading of body weight. Things are going to fluctuate, right? 38 variables that actually affect body weight. So we're not going to go into them now, but you definitely don't want to be fixated on that. So that is something that we look at the long term. For the coach, though, they can definitely see where things are heading, and you can look at the daily tracking, you can look at the weekly tracking, and kind of see, do we need to increase it? Do we need to turn up the notch a little bit? You know, turn the dial a little bit? Do we need to use more tools to actually increase fat loss? Or do we pull back a little bit? Are we running at too high of a rate of loss? Sorry. So yeah, that's what we need to think about. But for me, I'm not going to explain exactly what I'm going to be doing right here, but that's at around mid-Feb. But leading up to it, going through these fat loss blocks, you know we're going to get leaner anyway. So it's going to be fun to document that. It's going to be fun to finally do it from a client's perspective, you know, more of a fat loss lifestyle client perspective. Whereas before, everything on this channel has been about the extreme. Like, what is the best way to gain muscle, the most optimal way? And I have then done that. I've treated myself like a lab rat. And then I've done that. I've achieved it. You know, I've got extremely strong. I got extremely big. And then I got extremely lean and shredded whilst competing back to back. So tested that side of it. And I feel like I said, that chapter's been done with for a while. So it'd be good to put myself through now what we've done and proven successful already with literally thousands of people. So this is going to be fun for me to do myself. And also I've set some performance-based goals that are not just to do with weights in the gym. So that is something I will talk about more and document a lot more as we go about it. But it's going to be nice to showcase this journey and show you how we actually go about doing it. Now, myself, when I competed naturally, right, at 18 years old, I was about 80 kilos on stage. When I competed and I was the other side of natural, I was actually 100 kilos on stage. Whereas right now, I've kind of dropped down over the last couple of months anyway to 96.7, where I've been hovering around the 100 kilo mark for the last 2 years, right? But my 100 kilo look now, naturally, whilst off everything, not even TRT, like everyone else seems to be running and they say they're natural. I've been completely off now for a long time, and don't get me wrong, it's terrible. It's something I want to talk about a lot more. And when I say terrible, once you've experienced that side of things, it's like a gateway drug. It's like the pumps, the feel, the connection is not the same naturally, going back from experiencing that. And that's why when you stay natural, you're able to never experience that. So you're never going to be tempted. You're never going to know what's missing in a way. So that's the one thing that is difficult and I want to talk more about is training now, especially in this hypertrophy style, and realizing what could be in a way. But my mission now is to maximize that, to fight that fight and document it, because I know so many struggle with it and they end up hopping back on. They end up going back to the dark side, and I don't want to allow myself to be that weak-minded to actually do that just for the sake of a feeling, and obviously the results it gets you as well. But I know I can get in shape naturally, like very, very good shape naturally. I've competed it and done it before, but now I want to prove to myself that I can do it while still the business is my priority. my family, my work, my time outside of the gym is my priority. The physique still comes down here, but I want to prove that I can get in crazy shape, crazy condition, and do some pretty impressive feats with performance while still it not being my priority. So that's the goal for me. That's the challenge. But anyway, to talk you through this spreadsheet as well, what I do is I put a target body weight of what I think I'll need to get to, or what the client needs to get to achieve the certain look that they need to. This just comes from experience of knowing someone at a certain height with this level of muscle mass, what do they need to get to look a certain way. So for myself, I know if I get to that, I'll be incredibly lean. I don't think I even need to get to this, but it's a bit of a benchmark for me. I've given myself that timeline to work with so that the rate of loss per week is more than sustainable. Now, these are the optimal rates of progression we look for depending on what phase you're in. Now, for this phase, I'm going to be bouncing between, sustainable fat loss 1% per week or slight deficit, so basically 0.5% per week. And that's of your body weight dropping at that point. Now, that is, again, like I said, bang on. I'm giving myself plenty of time. I'm going through the fat loss blocks approach. Yes, we could do things in a more unsustainable fashion, get results a lot quicker, but those are unsustainable practices that you are teaching yourself that you will not be able to sustain. So then all those brilliant habits you build up in the fat loss phase, this happens 90% of people, I think, even that sign up to coaches because they just want the result short term, whether it's 6, 8 week, 12 week challenges. If it's not done in a sustainable way and they want to just push you to get the most insane result to showcase on their Instagram, unfortunately that's what happens, and then you are left with nowhere to turn. You have a terrible relationship with food. So that's what we don't want, right? So that's what I don't want either. I don't want to go through that process again. I've experienced that. I've struggled with that myself, coming out of the bodybuilding scene where the foods that you tend to like when you're a bodybuilder, when you step back into reality, you're like, this is ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. But anyway, that's the sort of rate I'm aiming for, is 0.76 per week. I'm hoping that I'll be in the low 96s or low 95s at this point here. So I've got my official check-in tomorrow. I have been working with a coach now, and I'm excited for it. It's someone I highly respect in the industry. So I've said when we do the job, like, I will happily give him a good testimonial and talk about it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to documenting the journey. It's going to be a challenge mentally for me more than anything. I want to talk more about that in another video. But I appreciate everyone that is watching, because I know not many of you are. But for those of you that have listened to the end and have maybe been part of this for a very long time and seen the phases I've gone through, the chapters I've gone through, I do appreciate it. And I would like to help you as well. So anything you do want to see, comment below. I'll go in depth. I'll showcase everything we do behind the scenes with coaching, anything. Like, I'm not hiding anything on this channel. I want it to just be somewhere where, like, I'm in a room right now, no one's actually listening. I don't really care about what I show. I want to be able to document who I genuinely am and why I do what I do. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Subscribe, thank you, and yeah, I will hopefully maybe see you soon at some point if this goes well. Who knows? I'll see you locally if I know you. Thank you.